Hello everyone, the story I'm going to share today is Lu Dongbin's miracle in the mortal realm. The Eight Immortals were well known throughout the human world. They would fight against injustice and punish evil, so they were often praised by many people in human society. One such example is when Lu Dongbin destroyed the Flood Dragon. Lu Dongbin, one of the Eight Taoist Immortals, received supernormal ability from his master Chungli, and the Taoist of Fire Dragon also taught him swordsmanship. He was traveling in the area of Yangtze and White rivers. At that time, the Flood Dragon often appeared in White River, and it often caused heavy rain, which resulted in flooding, and many people's houses collapsed. Sometimes it made huge waves that destroyed many boats and ships. Sometimes the Flood Dragon morphed into human form and arranged for girls and women to be prostitutes, who later became sick and died. People living in the area of White River suffered a lot, and the government officials used all kinds of methods to improve people's lives, but their results were in vain. With desperation, the government put up a poster, hoping someone who had supernormal abilities would control the Flood Dragon. Lu Dongbin seemingly wandered to this place. He entered the government office and told an official, "I can eradicate this Flood Dragon. Don't worry." The government official was very happy to hear that, and immediately asked Lu Dongbin to proceed. Once he arrived at the White River, Lu Dongbin waved his sword while shouting, and threw his sword into the water. Instantly, red blood appeared in the White River. A large flood dragon's body emerged from under the water, floating on the surface, and the sword then whisked itself back into its scabbard. People were all stunned, and asked if this hero had a name. Lu answered, "I'm only a Taoist." The government official then rewarded him with gold and silver, but he refused the gifts and left. From then on, people lived a peaceful life in the area of the White River. After he killed Flood Dragon, Lu Dongbin wandered to the city of Hanyang. Sometimes he would beg in the streets, and sometimes he would simply appreciate the scenery. He had a wish to find a disciple who would be teachable. However, he did not find anyone suitable. There was a wine tavern run by a man named Xin. Lu Dongbin would visit the tavern to drink wine, but did not pay anything. Xin never asked him for money. Days went by, then 6 months passed. The Xin never complained and asked him to pay. One day, Lu Dongbin again came to drink wine, and he told Xin, "I owe you so much money, and I have not paid you anything." He asked Xin to take some orange peels, with which he drew a crane on the wall and told Xin, "As long as there are guests coming to drink at your tavern, if you call the crane, it will come down and dance for the guests, and this is how I will pay you. In a few years, you will become rich." Xin wanted Lu Dongbin to stay, but he left. Later, when guests came, Xin called the crane, and it would come down and dance beautifully. Afterwards, it would return back to the wall. The people watching were surprised and delighted. Over time, more and more people came to Xin's tavern to drink wine, while watching the crane dance. In a few years, Xin indeed became rich. One day, Lu Dongbin returned. Xin saw him and invited him for a drink in his tavern, where he also thanked him. Lu Dongbin asked, "Did many people come?" Xin said, "More than enough." Lu took out his flute and played 3 songs. Then the crane came to life from the wall, returned to him, and he flew away atop the crane. To commemorate this magical experience, Xin built a memorial and named it Yellow Crane Tower. Thank you very much for listening to the story. More touching stories will be ready for you if you just subscribe it. Thank you again.